well-known drinker, you find some strangeness. You're not comfortable with him or them. Now imagine it begins even between you and your children, you and your family. He says, and some of the Salaf said, this is reported in Al-Hulya, if I'm not wrong, Hulyatul Awliya, he says, إِنِّي لَعَاسِ اللَّهِ فَأَرَى ذَلِكَ فِي خُلُقِ دَابَتِي وَامْرَأَتِي. Sometimes I commit sins, and I see the effect of that in the manners of my donkey or my animal which I ride, and the manner of my wife, how they treat me. It's because of your own sins. They become strange to you. Some grudges happen. This is what some of the Salaf said. And also some of the effects of sins, to continue. This is what now number 5. Number 5. I hope you're memorizing, because I don't see you writing. Number 5. تَعْسِيرُ أُمُورِهِ عَلَيْهِ. This is, again, these are things we need. It's very, very important. This book is very, very important. And I'm still reading this book. I have not finished it. But because of the importance of this chapter, which I already read, I said we have to do this book. Number 5, he says, your matters becoming difficult on you. Your affairs become difficult on you. He says, and so he does not face to do anything. He does not go about doing anything except that he finds it closed, the doors closed, or he finds it difficult on him. And he says this is because, just like the one who fears Allah has the taqwa of Allah, جَعْلَ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا, Allah makes his affairs easy. Likewise, the one who leaves taqwa of Allah, fearing Allah, and commits sins, his matters will be usra, difficult. And he's pointing to the ayahs which talk about in Surah Al-Talaq, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ وَيَرْزُقْهُ. Then, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Allah says, the one who fears Allah, Allah makes an easy way for him. And He gives him provision in a way which he does not know. How did this risk come to me? Because of your fear of Allah. Likewise, the one who lives fear of Allah, his matters become hard and hard, difficult. Difficult. Number 6. He says, rather before going to that, he says, وَيَا لِلَّهِ لِلْعَجَبِ. And how strange is it, Allah? He says, how does a person find the doors to hire the good things closed, and the doors to things which are of his benefit, even in the worldly affairs, he finds them closed or difficult on him, and then he does not know how did this happen. A person forgets that this is because of his own sins, or because he still continues to sin. Number 6, he says, a real dhulma, a real darkness which comes over his heart. A real darkness which comes over his heart. He feels it just like how he feels the darkness, the pitch black darkness in the night outside. You feel it in the heart also. The sinner feels it in the heart. He says, and so the darkness in the heart becomes like the real darkness outside on his sight. The darkness. When it is dark, you cannot see. Likewise, this darkness comes and covers the heart. He says, because ta'ah, obedience to Allah, is light. And ma'asi is the opposite. Ma'asi, the sins are darkness. The sins are darkness. Every time this darkness increases, the goodness of the soul decreases. The goodness of the soul decreases until it takes him to bid'ah innovations and the dalalat, the deviations, and the things which destroy him when he does not know. وَهُوَ لَا يَشْعُرُ, when he does not know. كَأَعْمَى خَرَجَ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ اللَّيْلِ يَمْشِي وَحْدَهُ Like the blind man who came out in the darkness of the night walking by himself. He might walk go through the road and gets hit by a car. He might walk into a hole in the ground. Does not know. He's blind and he's walking in the darkness. He says, and this dhulma, this darkness, it increases until it becomes apparent even on the eyes. Until then, it takes over the face also. And it becomes black. Until everybody can see it in him. And this is true. There's some people, the sinners, who are well-known sinners, you can see it in their faces. Even the face is turned. Waliyadha billah. The face is turned and look bad, ugly. And it is narrated here, he says it is from Abdullah bin Abbas. But the footnote, the Sheikh says in the footnote, it is not from Ibn Abbas, or he did not find it from Ibn Abbas. Rather, he found it from the statements of Ibrahim ibn Adham. It says, the statement says anyways, it has a good meaning. He says, the good deeds have a light on the face, bring light to the face, illumination, and illumination to the heart, and it brings about the rizq, the provision, as we said before, and strength of the body also, physical strength of the body, and the love of the people to you. That is the good deeds. And the evil deeds, the sins, bring darkness to the heart, and darkness on the face, and weakness on their bodies, and it decreases the provision, the rizq, and it brings hatred in the hearts of the people. And people hate you because of the sins. Number 7, which is connected to this, we just mentioned, he says the sins, they make you weak in the heart and the body. You become weak. As for the weakness of the heart, he says it is a matter which is very clear. Everybody knows this. By now we have seen that. And does not cease to become weak until it takes the life of the heart completely. And this is something, if you remember, we mentioned this during when we did the Adhkar, imperatives of Adhkar. The Prophet ﷺ said what? مثل الذي يذكر الله الذي لا يذكر الله كمثل الحي والميت. The example of the people who do dhikr, or the person who does dhikr, and the person who does not do dhikr is like what? The one who's alive and the one who's dead. He is dead in his heart, even though he still walks and breathes. His heart is dead. And sins bring about the same effect. He says, as for the weakness of the body, this is because, why does he say the sins bring weakness of the body? He says because the strength of the mu'min, of the believer, is in his heart. So when the heart, every time the heart becomes stronger, the body becomes stronger. As for the fajr, the evil sinner, the transgressor, even though you may see him that he has strength of the body, he is big and bulky, but he is from the weakest of things when the time comes for it. When the time comes for it. And so you find his body strength, it gives up. It dissolves when he actually needs it the most. When he actually needs it the most. He says, and think about this. Think about this. Think about the strength in body of the people of Persia, the Faris, and the people of Rome, the Romans. How it deceived them. How it deceived them. When they actually needed it the most. When was that? When the Ahlul Iman, the people of Iman, subdued them because of the strength of their hearts and their bodies. They used to say this even before. When the Prophet ﷺ used to tell them, we'll conquer Fars and Rome, they used to say, is he crazy? Those were the superpowers of yesterday. Strong armies, strong people. But it's not that strength, it's the strength of the heart. The strength of the heart, it comes and supports you bi'idhnillah when you actually need it. But those, even if they have the strength of their body, when they need it, does not have them. So this is very, very important. Number 8,